This is a story of Moses. A new Pharaoh was now ruling over Egypt, and the new Pharaoh had forgotten all that Joseph had done for Egypt. And the people of God were now slaves, and they were trapped and could not go home. There were so many of the people of God that the Pharaoh was afraid that they might take over his kingdom and take it away from him. So he decided that all the baby boys should be killed. Well, one mother put her baby in a basket woven from bulrushes. And she placed the baby inside the basket and hid it in the reeds by the Nile. Well, the Pharaoh's daughter found the basket and the baby, and she named the baby Moses and took him to the palace to be raised. When Moses was a young man, he saw an Egyptian beating one of the people of God, and it made him so angry that he killed the Egyptian. And then he ran into the desert. He stayed with the family of Jethro, and he married Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters. And he became a shepherd, and he lived there for 40 years. Now, one day, while Moses was taking care of Jethro's sheep, he took them to the mountain of God, Mount Horeb, which is also called Sinai. And suddenly, he saw a bush that was on fire, but it wasn't burning up. God spoke to Moses from the burning bush. God told Moses that the cries of the people of God in Egypt had been heard, and that Moses was to go back and set the people free. Well, Moses said, "But who am I to do such a thing?" And God said, "I will be with you." "What is your name?" "My name is Yahweh. I am who I am." "Can't you send someone else?" "Aaron, your brother, will go with you. He will speak for you." So Moses went back to Egypt to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. Moses went many times to the Pharaoh to tell him to free God's people and let them go. But many times the Pharaoh said no. Then terrible things happened in the land of Egypt. And finally, the Pharaoh said yes. God helped Moses lead the people through the water to freedom. Moses led the people through the desert for 40 years. The people of God grew tired and hungry and discouraged, and they grumbled to Moses. But God showed them that he was with them. He sent manna and quail for them to eat. In the desert. When the people of God became thirsty while traveling in the desert, they complained to Moses again. And Moses talked with God. And God said, "Take your staff and hit the rock, and water will come." So Moses struck the rock with his staff. Water came out of the rock so the people could drink. Something happened that made God angry. Moses did not keep faith with God in the midst of the people. So God told Moses that he would see, but never enter the promised land. People were free, but they didn't know the best way to go. With God's help, Moses led the people to God's mountain, Mount Sinai, where God had spoken to Moses from the burning bush. And Moses went up the mountain to talk with God. And the people waited and waited and waited. Moses was gone a very long time. The people began to think that Moses would never come back. So they asked Aaron to make them a new god to lead them. So Aaron took all the gold the women were wearing and melted it down, and he shaped the melted gold into the shape of a calf. And he gave the calf to the people, saying, "Here is your God." And the people built an altar and worshiped the golden calf. Moses came down from the mountain, and his face was shining. He carried with him the 10 best ways, but he found the people worshiping a golden calf. Moses grew angry and he broke the tablets that had on them the 10 best ways. And he took the golden calf and he threw it in the fire. People were sorry. So God gave Moses the 10 best ways again. And Moses gave them to the people. Then God told Moses to have the people make a box called an ark to hold the 10 best ways. The box was covered with gold, and it had 2 poles on the side so that the people could always carry it with them wherever they went. God also told Moses to make a tent called a tabernacle for the ark. When the people stopped to rest in the wilderness, God's glory filled the tent, and Moses came close to God there. When he came out, his face was shining. After 40 years, they came to another mountain, Mount Nebo, and Moses looked into the promised land from the mountain. And God said, I will give this land to the people of God, but you will never cross over. Moses died there, and no one knows to this day where he was buried. I wonder what part of this story you like best. I wonder what part of this story is the most important. I wonder what part of this story is about you. I wonder if there's any part of this story that we could leave out and still have all that we need. Here's the ark that would carry the 10 best ways, be kept in the tabernacle. Here are the 10 best ways that Moses got from God, brought down from the mountain, but became angry and broke them. God later gave them again. Well, here's the gold calf that Aaron made from the women's jewelry people worshipped while Moses was gone. It's Mount Sinai, where Moses was for a very long time. The people thought he would never come back. Here's the rock that Moses used his staff to bring about water so the people would thirst no more. Here's the quail and manna that God provided when the people needed food in the desert. Here's the water that Moses parted so that the people could escape Egypt. Here's the burning bush. It didn't burn up. The bush that God spoke to Moses through. Here's the baby hidden in the bulrushes. The baby that was Moses. The Pharaoh's daughter took to the palace and raised as her own. The story of Moses.